bring her on. And so if this is Sister Louise, welcome.
Thank you so much, Brother Eric. And I'm hoping that our guest speaker is here this evening. I don't see her yet. Do you?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Welcome, Sister Judy. How are you? So, welcome everyone to yet another Thursday session here, an insight session. And thank you for coming this evening. If it's your first time here, I would like you to get in touch with us and we can put you on our email list. And if you are what I like to think of as regulars coming every week, I assure you that tonight you will find the peace and the good wishes and the love that you come here for. And frankly, I'll tell you a secret I come here for, because this is the best job in the world, is to serve, to introduce some of my senior and favorite, shouldn't say favorite, wonderful, wonderful souls that I introduce you to. I've had the privilege of knowing for years now, many of them, and one of them is Sister Judy. I took a writing course with her in Peace Village many, many years ago before I was a student here. And it was the most wonderful course in writing with spirituality and getting to know who you are on the inside before you put it on paper. So our Sister Judy Rodgers has many faces, and I know she just got back from traveling to not only India, but to Africa. I hope we hear a little bit about that. And right now, I do know that Peace Village, where Sister Judy resides and lives, is preparing for a whole new season. In fact, I'll be up there the end of April with a bunch of Brahmins, and there will be so many public programs. So make sure you keep an eye on the Peace Village website so that you can be abreast of what's going on up there. I know there are many exciting plans up there with Sister Dorothy and people like Sister Judy. So this is a brand new month, and April is inaugurating spring. And we certainly in New York have a dose of that today. Those of you who live locally know, I think the temperature hit 75, am I correct? 74 on Long Island here where I am. And it was just a beautiful day. And I was so delighted to just get outside. Unfortunately, I couldn't take the long walk I would because I hurt my knee 3 weeks ago and I'm in a brace and healing beautifully, I must say. But this is walking weather or biking weather, which leads me right into the topic tonight. The theme for the month is spring, a time for renewal. Very interesting to me. And the topic is renew your thoughts. But if we talk about renewal, what is it we're renewing? So we can look deeply within ourselves, or we could just look right outside the window here on Long Island and see what's going on. And it's funny, when I look at the bare trees that don't have leaves yet, because they have been spending months in winter, I know what's coming. So I don't feel sad. And I don't miss the leaves when they're not there. And if you're a winter person and you love the cold weather, well, I have to tell you, there is nothing like coming into the confluence of the extreme seasons, the hot summer and the cold winter, which we didn't have too much of. But the beauty of New York and Long Island down here, to me, is that confluence of seasons where we actually get to breathe and even express ourselves the way nature does. Nature is going to replenish. Nature is going to turn green again. Nature is going to invite us outside, whether we're in a brace or not, whether we can walk or not, and we breathe in instead of tightening. This is me. I have cold nose, cold feet, Louise, and I get tight in the winter. And my mind tends to want to just click off. But there's something about this beautiful renewal that is not only internal, but it's external, and it invites us to hope. To me, spring is the season of hope, and it is a renewal of energy that has, I feel, in me, been contained over the winter in a different way. We have ways of expressing ourselves all the time, but there is hope in growth. There is hope in change. So the mere word itself means we have a chance, and we do belong. We are part of nature. This is the feeling I had as I was doing a little free writing and stream of consciousness writing before the session. And I'm thinking how I am very much a part of the natural world. And everything in my body has rhythms. Everything in nature has rhythms. Everything has a cycle. And here we are tonight to see what Sister Judy is going to shed light on. I have no idea what she's going to talk about, but I'm always excited to hear her speak. Very briefly, I will tell you that Sister Judy, she does live in Peace Village, and she has been studying meditation, Raj Yoga meditation, for over 30 years, with the Brahma Kumaris for 25. And prior to that, she worked in media and communications, and she taught college English. And her interest is in cultivating inner states that amplify our capacity to live and serve and renew. So without further ado, thank you for coming this evening, and welcome, Sister Judy.
Thank you, Louise. Sorry about your knee. Hope it's healing.
It is. Thank you. Beautifully. Thank you.
Okay. And hello, friends. So we're talking about thoughts tonight, renewing our thoughts. We've covered this territory before, you and I, so we'll see if we can't keep it kind of fresh. One thing, you can't really think too much about thoughts without talking about the mind, right? So we're going to talk a fair amount about the mind. And one thing that I notice about our minds and our hearts is that they're a little bit sticky. In other words, the feelings in our hearts tend to get stuck there. And the thoughts in our minds also tend to get stuck there. So we can find that we have persistent feelings and persistent thoughts in the mind and heart. And it can kind of, it happens more if we're a bit distracted or we're a bit lazy or too busy. We just allow those things to stay there, right? We just let them kind of lodge. It's kind of like do you ever get a song stuck in your mind? It'll keep playing. You can't get it out of your mind, or like a little movie that keeps playing. So whatever's playing in the mind, and let me just say, I would love it if some of you would come on camera. It's a lot easier to talk to you, although your photos are lovely. It's a lot easier to talk with you if I see a few faces. So it's a standing invitation if you're so inclined.
Yeah. And excuse me, before you continue, would you like to invite the audience to post in the chat questions or comments, or do you want them to wait and do it afterwards?
No need to wait till the end. Yeah, feel free to interrupt me at any point.
Okay, all right.
So the thing to be aware of is that a thought in the mind. Hi, Michelle. Thank you for that. That when we have a thought in the mind, hello, Mina. Nice to see your face. The thought in the mind creates a quality of awareness. That awareness in the mind becomes our attitude. And then the attitude infuses our vision and subsequently our words and actions. So it's not innocent to have a certain kind of thought in your mind, is it? And of course, if you have a persistent thought in your mind, if you have a thought that continues to come back, then it kind of becomes your nature. And the people around you begin to kind of expect that that's the way you are. So if you have one of those sunny dispositions, you're very warm, you're very cheerful, people around you begin to kind of associate that with you. If you are someone who worries a lot, subconsciously they'll be thinking, yeah, this one's kind of a worrier, or anxious, or angry, right? So whatever the persistent patterns of thought and thinking are in the mind, that becomes our nature. And not only do people around us get used to it and maybe get tired of it if it's a pattern that, if we're critical or whatever, but we can kind of get tired of ourselves. Do you know that feeling where you kind of want to get away from yourself? Say, I'm kind of over this aspect of myself, this worrying nature, or this afraid nature, or this sadness or whatever. So it's really, it's not trivial to begin to take on this business of the quality of our thoughts. So how do we, to go with tonight's topic, how do we renew our mind? How do we renew our thinking? Now, there's a lot of external methods, and you may have tried some of these, right? So travel. A lot of people think, I'm in the mood for something fresh. I'm going to book a trip. I'm going to Italy. I'm going to book a cruise. But when you get on the plane, who's there with you? Your same mind, right? The critical mind that was at home and wherever is now the critical mind that's on the plane with you or on the cruise with you. So just because you're traveling doesn't mean you leave this behind. Some people take courses, right? I learn a new language, or I'm studying cooking or whatever. But once again, it distracts you a little bit, but actually the quality of your thinking is there with you. You don't really escape just because you're signing up for a course or whatever. Social media. Anyone go on social media to distract yourself? Look at rescue dogs for hours, or baby elephants, or whatever else is your favorite thing to distract yourself. We do lots of things to change the mood we're in and the thinking that we're having. But unless you're making a change from the inside out, the change won't stick. You'll distract yourself a little bit, but you actually won't feel the transformation from inside. So if we're really going to renew our thinking, we have to be able to do that on the inside. And that is probably why you study meditation. I'm going to guess that everyone in this meeting tonight is studying some kind of meditation. Is that right? Is there anyone in here? You can just tell me in the chat or put your little reaction hand up. Is there anyone who has not yet started studying meditation? It's still out in front of you? Give me a little signal here, either in the chat or with your reaction button. Is anybody has yet to start meditating, or has everyone got a practice of some sort? Yeah.
Looks like we've got a full house of meditators, I would say.
Okay, that's good. Because why do you meditate? What are you doing with your practice? So when you learn to meditate, the first thing that happens is you get, especially if you're doing Raj Yoga meditation. Now, this might not be the same with all meditations. Mindfulness is a little bit different. Some of the other practices are a little bit different. But with Raj Yoga meditation, the first thing that you do is you get different understanding. You're studying, you're learning. So the first thing you learn is that you are eternal, that you are a point of light. So once you think about that, I'm a point of light, I'm eternal, and my nature is love. My nature is peace. My nature is kindness, compassion. Yeah, Cheryl, improving the length of time, that's right. So you get a new thought, a new understanding right? And I'm talking now, how do we move from the inside out in terms of renewing our thoughts? So the first thing is you get new understanding. For example, who are you? You know, if I understand I'm eternal, I'm a point of light operating in this body, my nature is goodness, my nature is peace, kindness, compassion, etc. That understanding then gives me something to work with in terms of my new thought. Once you have the understanding, then it's about playing with that idea, basically concentrating on that. So if you've been told that you are peaceful by nature, then your next move is actually to experience yourself as peace, to actually be at peace. And when you actually experience yourself as peace, now what's moving out from you is that nature of peace. So this inside out approach is more likely to transform you than the cruise, although the cruise will be a lot of fun. There are certain kinds of thoughts. There's actually a range of different thoughts that ends up in the mind. And I'll talk through them briefly, although you may be aware of them, but it's really helpful to notice what kinds of thoughts is your mind in the habit of holding. So at the bottom of the spectrum are negative thoughts. So what is a negative thought? A negative thought is greed. A negative thought is anger. A negative thought is jealousy, etc. Right? Those are negative thoughts. They put you in a deficit space. They actually bring inside of you a tightness and limitation. And sometimes those negative thoughts become a pattern inside because of who we grew up with. Sometimes we hear the voice of our parents right in our mind. They told us things and we accepted those things. You know, sometimes we've carried them for a long time, and that's why becoming aware of them is really important. So at the bottom of the spectrum is a negative thought. Above the negative thought is a waste thought. So a waste thought is a reaction to someone around you. Usually it's to someone around you that that characterizes them in a less than beautiful way. So it's gossip, right? It's gossip, it's criticism, that kind of thing. If you find your mind indulging in that gossip or criticism about someone else, you also will notice that it makes your insides shrink. A negative thought, a wasteful thought, actually constricts the soul. We pull in when we have negative thoughts. Above the negative thought is an ordinary thought. This is the list of things you have to do. This is what's on your calendar. This is what are you going to wear. This is, you know, what did you forget to do? This is, do we need to take the dog to the kennel? You know, all of that sea of things that surrounds you. Of course, you have to think those thoughts, right? You can't get through your day without them. But are you revisiting those thoughts over and over again? Or do you just note, yep, dog needs a haircut, and then you move on? So the ordinary thoughts, how many of those are you having? Above the ordinary thoughts are positive thoughts. Now, there's actually been a lot written about this in the last 20 years. But so what is a positive thought and what is a positive feeling? The heart and the mind travel together. Thoughts and feelings travel together. So if you have a thought of peace, you have a feeling of peace right along with it, right? If you have a thought of kindness, you have a feeling of kindness also. They travel together. They're like braided. So when you think of a positive thought, you're talking about joy, contentment, awe, gratitude, kindness, compassion, empathy, lightness. It can go on and on. That whole range of positive feelings and positive thoughts. Now, when you have those thoughts in your mind and those feelings in your heart, you actually expand. You are more likely to reach out to someone when you're having those thoughts and those feelings than you are if you're having negative ones. If you've ever had a depressed era, I think most people go through a rough patch. In those eras, you're much less likely to call anybody, right? You're more likely to kind of shrink back into yourself with your own kind of heaviness. But when you're in positive emotional states, positive feelings, and positive thoughts, you are much more pro-social. You actually are smarter. You actually generate more thoughts. And you actually act on more thoughts. You are more likely to take positive action, to take some kind of benevolent action when you're in those states. More likely to reach out and help someone, etc., and to help yourself. So this ability to move yourself into positive emotional states and positive thoughts changes everything. Now, there's actually a kind of thought above a positive thought. Do you know what that is? How could there be anything more above a thought of kindness, right? But there is actually one more thought. This is an elevated thought. So an elevated thought is a thought of divinity. This is a thought of God. This is a thought of the divine. This is a thought of the source energy, the parent of souls, the benefactor of life. That thought and that feeling actually kind of make you fly. So it's kind of beyond what we're talking about. Now, that's the stuff of a whole weekend. That's when you come up to Peace Village and spend a weekend with me and we talk about how do you produce those and sustain them. But first you have to understand this hierarchy of thoughts. And second, you have to notice. Do you know how long we can go along driving in the car having a series of critical or negative thoughts? You can go for an hour and a half, where it's just your mind is just rolling along in these heavier thoughts. And as we do that, we're actually harming ourselves. And I'll say more about that in a minute. So there are certain kinds of thoughts that you can sort of have ready to help yourself. And these are pretty normal tactics I'm going to tell you now. One of the kind of ready-made, keep them near you remedies or methods is gratitude. You may already have a gratitude practice. A lot of people do this as a matter of a nightly practice. They take 5 things that they're grateful for, and they just make themselves sit down and list those things. I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful that I'm safe. I'm grateful for my children. I'm grateful for freedom. I'm grateful for whatever, lunch today. I'm grateful for the person who helped me find a parking place, whatever. The reason that gratitude works is because it makes you aware of your fortune and your fullness. When a lot of us spend time in states of wanting, we want things, we desire things. We go on Amazon and click around. We go on the internet and we search for things we want. And when we're in a space of wanting, what automatically comes with that is that I don't have, right? Because if I want, it's because I don't have. So the subtle message to the mind is we want and we don't have. Whereas gratitude is we have. We have a beautiful day. We have a lovely family. We have our health. We have a job. We have money in the bank. We have whatever, whatever. So gratitude is one of those things in terms of helping yourself that it's not a bad idea to have it there as a ready-made. And that some people, as I say, do it every single day. I know people who finish every day this way. Very close to gratitude is appreciation. This is similar, it's just a little bit different in terms of it sort of becomes a nature to appreciate someone. So appreciation has to do with it's sort of an outward expression. I meet someone, I appreciate the way they're showing up. I appreciate the way that they, my boss leads the meeting. I appreciate the way someone made lunch for me. So it's a way of responding to the life around you. And it cancels out the tendency for criticism, right? Some minds are just critical minds. I mean, some of us just have those minds that always notice what's missing, right? Yeah, the lunch was great, but there should have been more salt. Yes, the meeting was great, but it went on too long, right? There's just some habits of mind that are just critical. They scan for the thing that's wrong and they land there. Now, if you have a critical mind and you're scanning for the thing that's wrong and you continually find the thing that's wrong, what happens inside? You shrink, right? You shrink a little bit. So by flipping that, what do I appreciate in all this? I appreciate they finished the meeting on time. I appreciate that they had gluten-free bread at lunch. I appreciate that it's finally spring again, whatever, right? So it's a little bit different from gratitude, but it is an orientation of a way to meet the world. And you can cause yourself, you can invoke an appreciative nature with just the question, what do I appreciate in all of this? To your kid when they come home from school, what's the best thing that happened to you today? Right? You frame it as a question in terms of what is working. And then what comes with that then is the affirmation of goodness in your life. So gratitude, appreciation. The third major way to renew your thoughts is with something called bhavana. Bhavana is a Hindi word. The English translation is good wishes. Now, this is especially valuable when someone is really annoying you, right? When someone has said something or done something that is really annoying you. And what you're tending to think is, I'm so sick of this guy. He does this every time, right? I mean, that's where the mind wants to go. However, the way to transform that situation or that relationship, if it's someone that's really in your life, they live in your house, they're at your workplace, is with good wishes. May things go well for you. May you prosper. May your day be great. May your relationships be great. Why does this work? Why does it work to have good wishes for someone? It's because of the law of karma. You understand the law of karma, right? What goes around comes around. So if someone annoys me and I have the thoughts, I hate when this one does this. It's really annoying. Every time they do this, it upsets me. Now, do you think if you're holding that thought, it leaks out your eyes, right? I mean, can't you tell what someone's thinking just by the vibe, right? The vibration that they're putting out by what's in their eyes. People can tell that about you too. If you're thinking, I'm really annoyed, other people will be able to tell. And that vibration that you're sending out returns to you. It lodges in your mind. It lodges in your heart. So not only did you not do anything beneficial for the one around you, but you actually infected yourself. So this bhavana, this good wishes and pure feelings for the other one, is really a trick. Now, when you do this, what I find you have to do, because if someone's really annoying you, you need a little bit of help. You have to think of something about this person you appreciate. You know, I may be really annoyed with this one, but you know what? They're very kind to animals. Or you know what? They are always prompt. Or you know what? He takes good care of his mom. Or she looks out for the neighbors. In other words, you put something in your head about this one that makes the bhavana honest. Otherwise, it's just a script and it's not going to work. Karma works based on your intention, not just empty words. So you have to say something with a pure intention if the bhavana is going to work. So you have to have something in your thoughts that's good about that one, that allows you to have the good wishes. Okay, so 3 methods for a fairly quick turning around of your mind: gratitude, appreciation, and bhavana, or good wishes. Got it? Now I want to talk a little bit about why this business of the quality of your mind is so important. So every thought has a vibration. So a thought of criticism has a vibration of criticism. A thought of peace has a vibration of peace, right? Love, compassion, empathy, mercy, kindness, sweetness, anger, right? Each different thought and feeling have a vibration. That vibration starts in our own mind and our own heart. So the one who's instantly affected by the quality of the thought and the quality of the feeling is us. I mean, on some level, we're thinking that we're annoyed with them or we're angry with them, but actually it hardly reaches them. It eventually reaches them, but it's already infected us first. So we have to understand that we are vibrational beings. When we say we're light, what that means is we are made of vibrations. We're energy. We're conscient light energy. So a thought produces a certain kind of vibration that affects us first. This is the basis. We're not going to talk about healing tonight or any of that, but this is the basis of the connection between the kind of thoughts we have and our physical well-being. Because persistent negative thoughts create persistent negative vibrations in the body, right? So what is so important to understand about the mind is that when we get mastery over our mind, we are actually cleaning the mind. We are purifying the mind so that we can fill the mind with clarity and with all of the original goodness of the soul. We don't need to go get those things somewhere else. If I want peace, a peaceful mind or peace of mind, I don't need to go somewhere else to get peace. I mean, I can go for a walk in the woods. I could read something about peace, but honestly, it is the nature of the true self to be peaceful. So all I'm doing is I am invoking a state that I already own. I am peace in my original nature. I am love in my original nature. When we look at babies, why do we love them so much? Why do we want to kiss their little faces off? Because they're emanating love, right? They're just emanating their original, pure, loving nature. Love, peace, sweetness. That's our nature too. So what we're doing with our mind, many of us, you might, if you really take the time to look in your mind and look in your heart, you may find that there's a fair amount of chaos in there, right? A fair amount of craziness inside. This happens because of we're absorbed with the news, we're absorbed with the bad news that our friends tell us, or the bad diagnosis we got, or the troubles in the family, or all of those things, which, as I said at the beginning, gets stuck inside. So enough of that stuff gets stuck, and then when we turn to go inside to meditate, we just find craziness in there. Yesterday's news, all these thoughts, what happened this morning, the things we're worrying about, all of it's just floating around inside. And if it's floating around inside, it all has a vibrational pull to it. So when you choose to go on to a path of meditation, what you're saying is, I want to make my mind clear. I want to make my mind peaceful. I want to make my heart loving and kind and compassionate. I don't want to carry hard feelings for anyone. I don't want to carry resentment. I don't want to walk around with anger in my heart and in my mind, because the first one affected by that is me. Now, vibrations don't just sit still. Vibrations generate a field around them. So if you have a habit of mind of being critical, or a habit of mind of worrying, or of being afraid, then not only do you have an inner state that's fearful or angry or critical, but you actually are creating a whole field around you of that. It affects the body, it affects the atmosphere in the home. If you've got a cubicle at work, your cubicle is filled with that. Conversely, when you can manage love in the heart, joy in the heart, you've created a whole field of that. And that's our aim. Our aim is to have such, going back to those qualities of thoughts, is to have such a high quality of thought that we are filled with that vibration and we create that vibrational field around us. That requires that we be vigilant about what's going on in the mind. And this is what your meditation practice will help you with. So if every morning you sit down for 15 or 20 minutes and you invoke a state of a positive thought, let me be at peace. Let me be filled with love. And you do it every day. You invite in these higher quality thoughts. Then when you need those thoughts, and you call them, they'll come, because you've been practicing it every morning. But this requires that your practice be daily. Can't be sometimes. It can't be, I only meditate when I feel good or when I have time. Or some people only meditate when they feel bad. That's even harder, right? No, you've got to meditate every single day. You can't miss. Just like you don't miss eating, You don't miss drinking water. You don't miss everything like that. You can't miss on your meditation, because when a difficult phone call comes, when someone challenges you, when you slip and fall off a curb or something, that's when you have to call for the thought, the high thought, the elevated thought, the positive thought, and it will come, and that will immediately help you. So your practice has to be consistent. However long it is, if it's 10 minutes, if it's longer, great. But it's most important that it be consistent, because then when you call the thought, it will come and it will serve you. Now, I want to talk a little bit about this business of serving with thoughts. So, for one thing, there's something to understand about the time we're in. We're in a time where there are two energies at work. There is a descending energy that you might call mean-spiritedness or breakdown, or I think you know what I'm talking about, right? This is the energy that's so noisy. Fractiousness, difficulties, greed, criticism, flagrant harming of other people. That energy, that what I'm going to call a descending energy. But there's a second energy at work right now, and this is a very powerful ascending energy. This is the energy of divinity. This is the energy of renewal. This is the energy of rejuvenation. This is the energy of creation. So you might think of it that there are two big pools or big fields. One field of descending energy and one field of ascending energy. Each time you make a choice to get angry or to have bhavana for someone, you contribute to one of those fields of energy. So if you react and you get angry and tell somebody off, you have contributed to this field of descending energy. If you manage to have bhavana for someone, he must be having a hard day. He must be tired. Good wishes for him. You've just contributed to this field of ascending energy. And so our task, in addition to working for our own well-being, is to amplify this field of ascending energy. Now I want to talk about one more thing, which is something called serving through the mind. Mansa Seva. Have you ever had anyone say to you, pray for me? Think about my family, send us light, we're having a hard time, somebody's in the hospital, somebody just left the body, whatever, that kind of a thing. How do you do that? What can you do that will actually help them? So you can only serve with your mind when the quality of your mind and heart is filled with the thoughts and feelings that we talked about earlier, the positive thoughts and feelings, or the elevated thoughts and feelings. Because when your thoughts are at that level and your feelings are at that level, because we are vibrational beings, right? These have a certain energy, these thoughts and feelings. So you fill yourself with that, and there's a couple ways to do that. One is you invoke it from inside. Let me be peaceful. Let me be loving. because this one needs that. My cousin, my friend, my child, my mother, whatever, needs that. But honestly, the more powerful thing to do, if your meditation practice has shown you how, is you, the true self, the being of light, sitting behind the forehead, connects up to the source, to the spiritual parent, which is filled with all those qualities. This is what an elevated thought is. You connect up there and you pull down that powerful thought. So yes, I am peace, but let me connect with this ocean of peace. Let me connect with this source of peace. Yes, I am love, but let me connect with the source of unlimited love. Now, when you can do that, be in that place yourself and connect to that, now you have the thought of this one you want to help, right? This one has asked you for help. So you're pulling that powerful vibration, that powerful current of peace or love, and it moves through you and out to that one. So you're thinking, may you be at peace. May you experience unlimited love. May you know you belong. May you know you're not alone, right? What are these called? What is this? What is this I'm saying? What are these? You know what I'm talking about? These are blessings. May you be at peace. May you experience love. This is the most powerful thing you can do for someone. You can also make them a nice casserole and take it over. You can also offer to give them a ride somewhere. You can also write them a lovely note or buy them a card. But honestly, what they will recognize inside is the current that has come from you to them. They may not know where it's from because you're quietly doing this, but they will feel the lift that you've given to them. So let me stop now, because I think I was supposed to allow you time to ask questions, and I've been chattering along here. So
Thank you, Judy. Beautiful. We don't have any yet in chat, but I also was going to encourage people to ask any honest questions of Judy that come to mind. You know, I'm just thinking while we wait for chatters.
And you also can unmute and talk too. You don't need to put it in the chat. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, can we? Can they? That's great.
Can I
Go
ask a
ahead. Who's
question?
that?
Yes.
This is Om Arya. A beautiful talk, lovely discussion. Made a lot of notes, but I have one simple question. As you said that in the beginning, the negative thoughts or thoughts of lower quality tends to stick in your mind and they kind of get sticky. So how to break the cycle and so that you can move in the positive direction? I mean, when you do meditation for a while, you are in a positive cycle and positive mood, but it tends to come back. So how to break the cycle so that you don't come back and stay where you want to be? If you can tell some strategy, that would be very helpful. Thank you.
That's a very good question. So there is a method called a full stop. Full stop, like at the end of a sentence where you put the full stop. So when you realize that your mind is running in a negative direction, and sometimes this happens in a very passionate way, right? Sometimes we're very, very hooked by whatever's happening. So there's two steps. The first step is full stop. That is, you stop the thought completely right then. You don't let it finish. You don't let the movie finish playing. You stop the thought right then. And you replace it with a positive, powerful thought. Now, that's why I gave you 3 kinds of ready-made thoughts, right? Gratitude, appreciation, and bhavana. So if you can manage, that is the method. Now, what you will notice, and what everyone notices, is especially if your meditation practice isn't strong yet, you stop it, and it stops for an instant, and then it starts back up again. So what do? You stop it again. And sometimes it starts up a 3rd time, and you stop it again. And if it goes a 4th time, or sometimes it'll be quiet for 3 or 4 minutes, and then it'll surprise you and come back, right? And what you do, you stop it again. And you keep stopping that negative thought and keep replacing the positive thought. And you do it until the thought, your mind, stops giving you the negative thought. Because your mind is giving you that thought. See, sometimes I'll say to my mind, you are not behaving like my friend. You have to be my friend, right? Because your mind, when it brings you a negative thought, it is not being your friend. It's being lazy, it's being untrained. And so what you're doing is you're saying to your mind, I am not going to dwell in this negative thought, no matter how much this person upsets me. No matter how much this situation upsets me, I'm not going to dwell there. So you keep doing the full stop until the mind finally stops. It will stop. But then you have to continue to put that other positive thought in. You know, the mind doesn't really like to be empty. I know we talk about empty mind, but actually the mind likes, it's kind of like a baby that likes a pacifier. If you need to give the mind one thing to work with. So if you're trying to get it to stop giving you that negative thought, give it something that it can really work with. So if one of the things I mentioned isn't the right thing, if gratitude or appreciation or bhavana isn't the right thing, or good wishes, then you pick what works for you. You pick an image, you pick a word, you pick a positive, inspiring thing for you, and you give that to your mind. And then watch your mind. Be an observer of your own mind. Watch what it does with the thing you gave it. And if you are persistent, it will accept the thing you gave it. And the other thing that's important in this is it will also, you're beginning a new habit of mind, right?
Yeah.
You're saying, I'm not going to indulge this negative thing anymore. I'm going to move in this other direction.
Yes. Thank you very much, Sister Judy.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Now, Sister Judy, before someone else raises their hand, you mentioned in something else also that struck me very deeply. And that is, if there are people sitting here who feel that they don't have that capacity or they can't make that new habit, and it does work. I know I've done it myself. The power can be taken from the higher power. So if you feel you can, and even if you feel your head is noisy, when my heart connects to that higher power, then I'm drawing. It's like taking the plug on the floor and plugging it into the socket. And I'm able to draw on that and come and even fight. You know, I find my muscles have muscle memory, and my anxieties can have old memories. I had to do an MRI the other day. It was not comfortable for me. And I sat there with Baba for 40 minutes, and I was able to come in and out and in and out and in and out of it hit peaks of not being comfortable at all. And it's through that I came away with what I like to call a sober reference, sobriety of mind, and a peace that I really won that war. That was the little child in me trying to survive, and felt, of course, I was perfectly safe. But we have that traumatic memory, so we can draw on that, if I'm understanding what you were saying correctly, even if we feel we can't.
Right. I mean, I would say this, Louise, I don't think for everyone reaching, touching into the presence of God or the divine is so easy. I think for some people, they found their way to that, and it does work. But I think it has to be authentic, right? You have to really
Yes.
know what that connection feels like. And again, this comes from your meditation practice. And if you don't feel you can manage that, then manage with what you have. And then if you get to the point where you can do that. So, any other thoughts, questions, experiences, etc.?
Believe it or not, it's 4 minutes to 8. So I would love, and I'm sure the audience would too, if you would take us out with a meditative commentary before we conclude the hour.
You know
Would
what
you
I
do that?
found? Yeah, let me do this though. I pulled up a little blessing that's relevant for this topic. I found a little blessing that is similar to this subject. So I am going to slowly read this to you. And I'm going to invite you to just allow your mind to go along. All right? So get yourself comfortable. Your feet on the floor or under you. Don't think. Let your thoughts quiet down. And I'm going to read you a little blessing. And allow yourself to just absorb this into your mind and into your heart. May you be a world transformer who does unlimited service with the power of your powerful mind and your good wishes. For world transformation, souls who have a powerful, subtle stage are needed. Those who can transform many souls with their attitude and elevated thoughts. Unlimited, powerful service takes place through the power of a powerful mind with good wishes and pure feelings. So do not have these feelings for just yourself, but also transform others with your good wishes and pure feelings. Souls who keep a balance are able to do unlimited service and serve the world. So, become a world transformer with the balance of feelings and knowledge, love, and yoga. Om Shanti.
Shanti. Sister Judy, what stuck with me most this evening was the whole idea of the vibrational energy and how I can at least, and very importantly, take responsibility for creating that aura around myself that invites other people to a higher place. Even if they haven't heard you tonight, don't study here. We have that power, no matter how you may feel. We have the choice and we have the power, and now we have the tools, and we will thank you so much. Bhavna, gratitude, appreciation, all of that. Thank you so much. I just want to tell the audience that next week we have Sister Sandhya back with us. So do join us for learning about the heart. And I think we just did, but we're going to see, that's the beautiful thing about having a theme for the month. We will see what Sister Sandhya comes up with from a different slant, a different point of view. So please join us, everyone. And good night, everyone. Thank you, Brother Eric.
Thank
And if you'd like to
you,
unmute and say
everyone.
goodbye or wave, shy audience, where are you? Let's see some faces. Anybody comfortable? Hello, Carol.
Thank you.
Okay, Sherry, hi. All right. Hello, Rose. Okay. Shanti. Brother Eric, you wanted to say something?
Just thank everyone for coming and see you next week. Judy, always appreciate it. It was wonderful. And so have wonderful thoughts, start inside and share your vibration with everybody. We're very grateful and gratitude that you came tonight. Thanks, Judy.
Thank you.
Good night.
Shanti.